It's just such a little thing that many people will not notice, and they're like, oh, Vader's just evil, he's just doing evil things. But it is actually so much more than that.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Hey guys, what's going on? So as you can see, I got rid of the chair. Now I got the old chair back. I'm chilling. If you didn't see the Instagram story already, but I'm liking this angle. I think it's better. Okay, so now that we can talk about Kenobi spoilers a bit, I want to discuss a bunch of things. And in today's video, I would like to discuss why Vader was just maniacally just picking off random people in the town when it just seemed like something that was very cool, very Vader, you know, for sure. Now, I'm about 99% sure why he did this, and I'm going to explain it. If you're watching that scene, you remember when he walks past the Inquisitors, and you see how they all bow their heads, they're all very respectful of Vader, they all really fear him, and they all want him to acknowledge them. You know, one of the things about the fifth brother that I really like is that he is super loyal to Vader. He wants to be Vader's right-hand guy, pretty much. He wants to be Grand Inquisitor. And he knows if he fails Vader or disrespects him or anything like that, even bothers him, he's gonna lose more than that hand, let alone not get the position of GI. As we saw that scene, he was walking through the town and it was so badass, right? It's like, it's dark, it's night. The setting could have been better. It could have been a little more Star Wars-y, a little more in another galaxy. It felt too much like Earth, but we have those planets in Star Wars too that feel like Earth, so whatever. Anyways, so he's walking through the town and he's not picking off anyone, right? He's just walking past everybody. Everyone's cowering in fear. They're like, oh my God, who is this? Some probably don't even know who he is. Some maybe do. And as he's walking, Obi-Wan is looking at Anakin and for the first time and being like, oh my God, like what the hell is this? Right, as he says later, what have you become? And what happens is, while Vader is walking, like full stride, he stops and he looks. Now, whenever we get that in Star Wars, it means that, you know, from a Force user, it means that they sense something. And there's no commentary, there's nothing. We don't even get to see his facial reaction or anything of him like looking around or anything like that. And that's the really interesting thing about Vader, but also makes it very difficult to film Vader. Because with Vader, you have to film at different angles in order to get different moods, because it's just a mask. And it's shot where he's just stopped and he's observing. You can tell something is going on in his mind, and what do we know from Star Wars? He's sensing something in the Force. He sensed Kenobi. He felt Kenobi, and he knew Obi-Wan was watching him. So what does he do? Just as a display of his pure rage and violence, he wants to invoke fear in Kenobi. So he starts doing that by doing the most anti-Jedi thing possible, picking off random people in the village, snapping their necks, choking them, dragging them in the dirt while they're screaming. The motive behind that was to put on a show for Kenobi, was to make Obi-Wan shake in his boots, which he did. I mean, he ran away. I'm pretty sure if Vader had walked up to the door and like just force blown the door open, you know, Obi-Wan would have probably still been standing there. But that display of terror made Obi-Wan run away where they could be alone. And of course, Vader felt that, and he looked again, and then he went off and, you know, cut him off and was there. Probably used Force speed, most likely, just to beat him. Now, I saw a lot of comments of people being like, why would Vader do this? It doesn't make any sense. Well, it doesn't have to make sense. You know, Vader is he is that animal in the night that just takes what he wants. And there is no explanation needed. And that is the thing with Vader that is so very just primal and carnage and unpredictable and fear. Like this guy's scary. So for me, in kind of understanding that scene, and I mean, I could be wrong, but I really don't think so. I'm pretty damn sure that that's exactly what he was doing. That was his motive behind that. He was putting on a show, man. He was trying to show his old master, like, look how powerful I've become. Look how fearful I am now. Look at how distanced I am from being a Jedi. And I think in that, like, if that's what they were trying to do, it's what they were writing in there, it's just such a little thing that many people will not notice, and they're like, oh, Vader's just evil, he's just doing evil things. But it is actually so much more than that. It is him poetically and metaphorically showing Obi-Wan, look how much I've changed. And it's almost showing, in a sense, that he cares. You know, like, it's this anger, it's this resentment, it's this pain that he has, but also he cares. He wants Obi-Wan to feel this level of, oh my God, what happened to my apprentice? He is not the same person that he was, because Anakin inside was always feeling like he was being held back. If we go to episode 2, he's holding me back when he lost his mother to the Tuscans, and then he slaughtered them all. And so now that he was doing all this and showing this massive display of power, he was essentially portraying the fact that he is so much more powerful and grandiose, and now that he's not held back, he has all of this power under his palms, and he can just do whatever he wants, that even after he was left for dead on Mustafar by Obi-Wan Kenobi, look how powerful I have become. And I love that. I think that was, probably my most favorite thing of that episode, because it didn't need any explanation. There was no talking, there was nothing. It was just actions. It was just things being done. And if you know the characters, I feel like, or maybe I'm just making this up in my head, I feel like it really plays out into connecting who Anakin was and who he is now and how he's remembering that. Now, we have to remember, in interviews with Deborah Chow, Hayden Christensen, they've commented on how this Vader is different. This is not the same Vader in A New Hope or the same Vader at the end of Revenge of the Sith. This Vader is very conflicted, as Hayden Christensen said. And I think that conflict can be seen in how he's trying to show off in front of Kenobi. And the reason for that is because he's still remembering himself as Anakin Skywalker. I don't think this Vader really is the Vader that we know later on, of course. But they're actually really driving that home. And I didn't think they would push on that so hard. And I really like that. I really appreciate the fact that they're making this Vader different than what he is in A New Hope, but not tiptoeing around it and really just going straight for it. Anyways, I thought that was a really cool scene. I thought the meaning of it was really beautiful in the fact that now he's free, sort of. So he thinks. And he's essentially trying to distance himself as much as he can from the Jedi and show Obi-Wan that, well, I'm the man now. And he was, in this battle he was. Which means that we're going to get another battle, because if we don't, then, this totally retcons episode 4, A New Hope, when Obi-Wan and Vader met. And he was like, when we last met, I was but the learner, now I am the master. So they must fight again, and Obi-Wan is probably going to have to, dust him pretty hard. So otherwise that won't make sense. So really, George set it up that way, and I'm hoping that we get that in this show. Imagine they don't fight again, ever. No, I'm sure they will. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought about that cool scene where he's walking through the village and just absolutely picks people off, dude. That was sick. Okay, well, catch you guys later. Hope you enjoyed this vid. Leave a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you always.